We're live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Cosmic Forecasts with Bella and Ashley. We're just going to talk about the transits, what's going on right now, kind of get a pulse on what's happening for you and the collective, and looking at the body graph as well and see what's activated. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Anything you want to say, Bella?
Yeah, last day in the Gate of Opinion, right? So has been a week with a lot of opinions, and I feel like as soon as I turn on my phone or something, there are opinions. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's actually, for those of you that don't know a lot about the design or the transits, what we're looking at right now is the Just Now chart from the Jovian archive. And basically what this is we have all these planets right here, and those are the symbols for the planets, and these gates are activated by the planets in these positions at this moment. And so right now the sun is in 17.6, the earth is in 18.6, and then we have the moon in 20.1, and that's actually what's activating or defining, the throat and the G, because we have a whole channel going on here. So all of these come together to kind of bring in like an archetype that the collective is plugging into, or that is plugging into the collective. And you can call this the matrix, the program, the whatever. It's brought to you by the neutrino stream, and the neutrino stream is so small that it can pass through anything. So we're flooded by it. We're basically swimming in it, and we're experiencing this energy all the time, and it changes all the time. It's very dynamic. So when you're starting to understand the transits, when you're starting to understand now I got sidetracked because my husband's like banging on the wall. But anyways, to make a long story short, we're affected by the neutrino stream, which moves through the planets, which brings in the archetypes, which allows you to experience them in the now. So why does it matter? Because you're influenced by it. That's why it matters. Anything you'd like to add or share about this to kick us off by talking about this stuff? Or
I mean, I was thinking for a while that we could have shown the Rave Mandala to show that this is really, it's the astrology wheel with all the signs, and then around it we have the 64 gates of the I Ching. So that's how we track. We say, okay, why is, for example, 17.6? Why is that the sun? And it comes from that. It actually just comes from looking at the astrology that we now are, the sun is in Aries, and that part of Aries is the 17. So so that's also why it changes all the time, exactly as astrology, because the sun and the planets are moving all the time.
Yeah. Let me show the mandala, or our mandala, so that they can kind of get an idea of, I mean, I don't have the astrology signs, but I do have, this is the mandala. And so it's just showing you that we start in 38. January 1st, we're in gate 38. It actually begins at the end of the year, but you move counterclockwise. And so right now we're here, and we're moving into 21. And so when you're in the 6th line, you're moving from the 6 to the 1. So 17.6 to 21.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then to the 51. So that's kind of how it moves. And these activate different gates in your body graph, in your body, and then you are impacted by it. So if you don't have 17 but you have 62, whenever you are activated by the 17, it shows up from your ajna center, and then you have the whole channel, so you gain access to a defined ajna and a defined throat. So when you do look at the transits, it's kind of cool to be able to see how your energy shifts, right? We all have the same original design, but the transits activate things periodically through the year. And especially for projectors, since they don't have energy center, sometimes you'll have your sacral activated as a projector. And the same thing with the reflectors. It's better for you to track the moon than it is for the sun. So yeah, it's important to understand these cosmic activations, because they do affect you and they do give you access to things. And you can kind of, when you understand the energy, you can understand the themes that people are experiencing collectively without them even knowing it. So it's kind of cool to know it and then have the evidence for it in real life from people who are unaware. And you can just see the program playing out for them, which is so interesting. For me, especially, will watch my husband because he doesn't care about this. And he'll start like acting out in the different, like 17 came up for us yesterday. And he was like very strongly telling me about an opinion he had when we were watching Ozark, because that series on Netflix just came out. And he was like really telling me that opinion and trying to convert me. And it was beautiful to be able to witness it and be mindful and be like, well, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to go into the shadow with you and argue over opinion. Like, I don't care. Have your opinion. I'll have mine. And it's fine. And then he kept getting upset about it. And I'm like, well, why don't you just tell me, like, why do you have fear around me not being on the same side as you with this opinion that doesn't matter? Like, what's going on there? So when you have that ability to look at it, you can be mindful, and then you get to choose how you play with the energy, because you can either go in the gift, the shadow, maybe sometimes you have access to the city. How are you guys experiencing the transit? How are you experiencing the 17th archetype, the 17th gene key, 17th gate this week? Are you experiencing it? Do you see yourself experiencing it? I'd love to hear what you guys are. What's going on for you?
I feel part of this week also has been for me to keep the farsightedness, because I've been speaking with people in France. I was supposed to go back and take care of some things, but right now, like, nobody can really cross the borders. I don't know with my Swedish passport if I will be able to or not. And I was speaking with people that are on lockdown, inside their houses, and basically my body could feel the fear energy, and I was like, I felt overwhelmed by it. And then the thing is to, instead of getting like, that's a virus, and instead of getting like sucked in by that energy, it was so good in the 17th to be able to always think, okay, farsightedness, in 3 months, in 1 year, not getting sucked into the panic. And the 17th, I feel like it's a good gate that way, because it can lock us down into opinion. We can also help us to zoom out and be, okay, this is not forever. Everything changes all the time, and not judge the 18, which is also connected to it, helps us to kind of keep integrity, although everything is moving, and see the big picture, I would say. Oh, Olivia is on. Hi, Olivia.
Hey. And Julie too. Hey, everybody. Let me know who's on, because all we can see is that 13 people are watching, but I don't know who the 13 people are.
It's funny, Ashley. We're saying we don't have a live because we're here on a Saturday night, but it's also, I think, a little bit because of what's going on.
That's true. Yeah, you can't really go anywhere, can you? Nope. So that's cool. I was gonna pull up something to kind of, Olivia's on, and she is an astrologer too. I was actually gonna go pull up something that kind of talked about what the different planets were for people that didn't really understand it, because what you're wanting to do is weave them. It creates a story when you can weave these energies with whatever it is. Like, we're in 20.1 in the moon. The moon is about drive, but it's also about emotion. So like, what's happening here when we're weaving the 20 in the first line with the moon, and it's in detriment? Like, what does that mean? How can we go there? And 20 is about presence, and it's about self-assurance and being in the now, because it is the gate of the now. And if we're in the gate of the now, and it's and we have this whole channel activated for us, like, if this is all about the behavior of the self, and this is about being in the now, it's like, how are you acting in the now? What's happening for you? What are you hiding from yourself? Or are you being present? Or are you being superficial? Like, and does that have to do, how does that have to do with your emotions? Is anything kind of popping up for you? Like, how can we translate this for people to understand that, Bella?
I mean, all the planets have a meaning, and Olivia, she was just saying, Capricorn and like the conjunct planets. So we can see that Mars and Saturn, two like masculine planets, are conjunct right now, and it is in this gate of limitation. So, and limited by physical structures. So what can be more limiting than like, 4 walls that you're in? And it's asking us to see beyond that. It's asking us to actually use those structures. And if we can use what we are in right now to, for example, look inwards, or start to even like in these structures, take a drawer a day or a cupboard a day and to start cleaning out things like that, then actually, if you can become real of what's in, of what's there, and then we can use the structure instead of limitation for creating more space, creating something new, flowing in new ways. So that's what I'm thinking with Saturn it's Saturn and Mars, for example. And then we have Pluto and Saturn. No, is it Pluto? I can't see. It's Pluto and Jupiter that are in the 61. And Jupiter is the law. I think that's quite interesting to have it in 61 right now. What does that mean?
Well, if it's in 61 and it's in detriment and the 4th lane, so what's happening here? Yeah, what's happening here? So with 61, we have the frequency is psychosis, inspiration, and sanctity. So if it's in detriment, it's kind of got to go through the shadow. So like, what are people experiencing here? So what does Jupiter represent? I mean, it is
our law right now is either psychosis or inspiration. What do you choose as your law? What do you choose? What is ruling you right now?
Oh, Jupiter's the law and Saturn's the judge, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So basically, too, if you are in inspiration and you're excited, like we're in inspiration right now, we're excited. So how is Saturn going to be the judge for us? It's going to make magic for us because 60 brings a lot of magic too. You can have a lot that alchemizes in that container. So you can either feel restricted, and Jupiter and Saturn's going to be like, okay, we're going to put the shackles on you. You're going to feel locked down. You're going to feel like, I want to get out of here. It's a Saturday night. Why am I not doing something, right? And that could be the psychosis. So and because the 61, I think this is beautiful, Bella, because I feel like you brought this up. You're like, why are you people here on a Saturday night and you're not going out? You can't go out. You can't go out because we're on lockdown. It's social distancing. So you feel like you can't have access to your community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also knowing that 60 and 61 are right after each other in the Rave Mandala. So they have their energies that have to do with each other. And yeah, they have to do with each other. And I'm also thinking, yeah, I have the 61-4 in my SQ. So I'm thinking if you have this in your chart somewhere, that sphere for you might be influenced or affected. So I would also go, when something is conjunct something you have in your Gene Key chart, look there. For me, maybe now it is to look at my inner child. When did I feel psychosis when I was a child? Or when did I feel limited when I was a child? So also using those transits when they are overlapping, because that's the transits that we do in astrology. We see, okay, now this is conjunct this, and we say that that's the meaning, but this is the same thing. And especially when it is a detriment, I always say that little triangle is like pointing down for you to actually look at the wound and then open a door for something new.
That's a great little trick about that, the detriment, and us seeing that detriment, the little arrow down. We have an arrow going down in the 61, an arrow going down in the 60, because this is both detriment and exaltation. And then it makes a little Merkaba. It's a vehicle for our ascension and transformation. Woohoo! Yay, Mars. And then we have the detriment here. So like when it's pointing down, go into yourself, go into your shadows, because like she said, it's a portal. If you have it in exaltation where it's pointing up, it's like, okay, now it's time to rise up. Like, rise up, brush yourself off. Let's do this together. Let's do some.
And actually look at the sphere of relating, the Mercury as well, communication and the way we relate to others. And right now it is to see the dissonance. The line 1 in that process of relating is dissonance. So we feel the dissonance out there, and I'm like, oh, I feel overwhelmed by the fear, for example. Or, I go to the supermarket and everybody's wearing like masks. And then it is the 61 is the gate of truth. So it's like, where is your truth? Can you be the detective, to know enough to know what you're going to trust? What is your truth in this situation, or is in this environment of dissonance around you?
Yeah, I kind of like that. So I look at this as what's the game that we're playing right now? Like, you have your own vehicle, your own vessel that has its own personality. And right now, this is available for the collective. So it's kind of like, all right, game on. What exactly are we being asked to do here? What exactly are we being asked to talk about or think about? So we're here to investigate something. If this is going from inquiry to truth, what are we investigating? We're investigating the actual freaking game. This is like, if this is game night, people, right? Saturday night game night. This is what's happening. This is what's available to you. So it's kind of cool to go and think of it lightheartedly like this. Like, this isn't something that's trying to control you. It's something that's giving you an opportunity to play. And once you understand the system and once you understand the game, you're like, oh my God, I get to play. I get to either create in this or I get to actually be a player in this game. So I don't know. I find it fascinating and cool. We have Pluto. Actually, Olivia was saying that Pluto is the planet of pandemics. So it's kind of interesting that we're all experiencing this collective psychosis that the coronavirus has created for us. So woohoo! And because we are inside and needing to have limitation placed on us, what are we going to be looking at? I think that we should bring our presence to our emotions and like what's being stirred up within us, like, and then figure out what the bigger picture is behind this too. Like, why is it evoking this in me? What is it giving me an opportunity for? How can I find the ability to kind of come into my own self-sufficiency and self-love and then have love for humanity? Or am I going to hate myself and hate humanity? Like we were talking about earlier with Ben. So there's a lot of opportunity here. I'm looking at the 8.1 in Venus. What do you feel like that's calling us to action for there, Bella?
I mean, the Venus always makes me think about the SQ, like the inner child, the inner feminine, although that's usually on the design side, but it kind of comes to that thing. How can you, and this goes together with the gate that we're going into tomorrow, which is 21, which in the low frequency is about control and not going with the flow. So I feel like there is a true sense of certainty when we, for example, create a good environment at home. Maybe we have plans, maybe we have things that make our home feel good right now. And maybe we can create with our, loved ones, we can create that sense of closeness. The first line in the SQ I always say is like, needs to hear the beat of the heart with the other kittens in the tribe, or in the how do you say, like with other little animals. And that's the 21 we're going into tomorrow. Like, either we're trying to get that certainty by buying all the toilet paper and like doing all these things that are kind of a false, like coming from a false sense of control and of certainty. Or so there's like, it feels like it's a choice right now with Venus in 8 in the first line of certainty, and then that 21 we go into. Are we going to force control on things in a situation where we don't have control, or are we going to create an inner sense of certainty that has to do with a true rhythm of yourself with yourself and of yourself with your close ones in your closest environment? So that's what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking of when I see that first line Venus.
It looks like we don't have any second lines either. We're missing some second lines, and the only 6 lines we have access to is in the sun and the earth. Just noticing that right now.
Yeah, and it's hard to have flow in this moment, right? If second line is flow, it's a little bit hard.
Mm-hmm. So maybe also, if you don't have flow and you're not feeling that naturalness, maybe it is also what can contribute to what shows up in the moon, like what's activated by the moon too, and makes you like feel like, oh, I need to put on a face because I'm not feeling like I'm confident enough right now in this moment. I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed, or whatever it is that people are feeling there. And superficiality can also be like, you're not present in the moment. You're not giving yourself fully to the now. You're distracting yourself. You're making yourself busy. For example, 2027, the cross is going to be of the sleeping phoenix, and that includes, I think it's 55, 59, 20, and 34. Is that what it is? I know it's 20 and 34 for sure. Mm-hmm. It's going to make us so distracted with our busy, chaotic life. Like, let's survive instead of thriving. And what a lot of people are doing right now is like, let me scroll Facebook. Let me not be present. Let me research research the crap out of things. Let me go and watch the Q videos to tell me like what's going on. People are seeking the truth. They're thinking about what's the truth. And when you are trying to look to the future to like solve the riddle, you're not even being now. And stuff's coming up for you in the now. And there's things that want to like be rectified right now. Like you have access to the pod mind too. Like 27.4, 27 is altruism. But if you are in the shadow, it's like take care of yourself. Everybody needs to take the time right now to look inward, to get yourself right, because as soon as the gates open and you're able to go out, are you going to go back to your regularly scheduled life, or are you going to shift it and change it and do something else? Like what are we being called to like change? Because the program is changing regardless. The program's changing regardless. Right now we have opportunity. This is all opportunity for us to like get a bird's eye view. Not just people are wanting to get a bird's eye view of like the whole situation. But right now we've been secluded to our homes. And so how can you take this opportunity to look inward at yourself? Yes, we are in the sixth line, so it is a little bit transpersonal. It's like, let's get the bigger picture of everything and see how it's affecting the collective. But tomorrow, I mean, in a little bit, we're going to be in line 1, where it is definitely about the self. So we're already moving towards that. So I say, take that time to look inward at yourself and give it a little bit of a rest from trying to figure out what the bigger picture is collectively, and move towards what do you need, because you can't serve others if you're not first serving yourself. Like Ben was saying today, like you got to serve yourself. You got to be selfish sometimes. You got to fill your cup. You got to figure out what will get you right, and you have to be very anchored into your core stability before you can even try to help other people.
Right. I feel also this, you were saying last week, Ashley, about you feel like you don't have a schedule, you don't have so much pressure anymore. So also with a completely open ego, right now it's the only center that is open. So there's nothing to prove. Right now you can actually just, like you say, go inwards, and you don't have to do so many things that you maybe felt like you had to do before. And also, how does that feel? And are you losing your identity because you maybe lost your job? Like look at these things.
That's a great thing that you just said. I feel like it ties into the 10. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just like bing. Who are you? The question that the 10 asks is, who am I? And if you have, and we're in the 5th line right now, this is all about projection. Who did you think you were supposed to be? Who were you supposed to be in the grand scheme of things? Were you supposed to be the wife? Were you supposed to be the husband? Were you supposed to be the doctor? Were you supposed to be all these things? And you have then formed your identity and your foundation around titles, and now they're stripped from you. Who are you now? Right? Now you're going to have to look and be like, who am I without these things? How can I just be myself and allow my naturalness to come through? Because when you are able to do that, and when you're able to love yourself without all of these clothes on, like take off your clothes, take off the titles. Like you got to get naked, and you got to love yourself naked and raw before you can love yourself with all these shit that you put on you. Like, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I'm a this, I'm a that. And you stick in all these like clothes on top of you that kind of create this superficiality too. It's like, all right, I'm going to be this person, but really, who are you at your core? At your core, at the heart of things, who are you? And once you can love yourself, you can love everyone, because you're like, oh, they're just being themselves. I love them for them. You can have your own opinions. You can form your own judgments. Like, it doesn't bother me, because my sense of self is not dependent on what you think of me or how you view me. I get to decide who I am and the clothes I put on and like how I show up in the world. I don't need to fit into your box. I don't need to fit into your box. I get to be who I want to be, and I get to be inspired what I want to be inspired by. And as long as you show up, give to yourself, you can give to others. Because you're coming from a place of wholeness, and you're not asking somebody else, complete me, fix me, like heal my inner child, parent me. Dr. Shefali was like, you guys need to grow up and be adults. So take this time to parent yourself and show up as the adult in your life. You are your parent. You have these wounds from a previous relationship. You have these wounds from childhood. The past doesn't define you. It's now that defines you. So what are you doing in the now? How are you shifting in the now? How are you coming into alignment? All there is now. So if now is all we have, then why are you holding on to the past? Why are you holding on to what somebody else told you to be like, or what society tells you to be like? Obviously, shit's going down in society and in the government and all this stuff. It's all going down. So when that's all crumbling, how are you going to rise? This is the perfect opportunity for you to become that phoenix and be who you want to be, and then emerge from the ashes of like, guys, this is who I am. And it's like, whoa, look at that. Bella is completely different. Yeah, guys, I rebirthed myself during this time of incubation in my cocoon. So my rant is over.
Oh, perfect. Toki said 18 is about self-healing. So isn't it that too? It's like coming into integrity, growing up, taking responsibility. And that's actually how we heal. And that's what we say also when we work with people with the Venus. It's about becoming your own parent. It's about giving yourself what you didn't have when you were a child. That's true integrity. That's when you can actually go into that perfection of the 18th. So that's helpful.
Yeah, I love all you guys' comments. See, we're having a party on Facebook Live. That's what we're doing. We're all coming together to share in the conversation.
And I like that, Ashley, too, the radical, because like I feel your truth right now, and it sounds more radical. And I feel that's been coming up for us all this week. Even like speaking to Ben today, he was kind of radical. I was kind of radical. Even when we were in our membership group, and I was saying, I don't care if you become more aware, I don't care if these calls are like helpful to understand something. I want you to go out in your life and feel like something has shifted, because why are you otherwise losing 90 minutes with us? So there's something right now that comes like where the courage to be who we are comes out. And when we do, even ourselves, we get like, I was texting you guys after the meeting saying like, was I too forceful? Did I push too much energy? But like sometimes we don't even know who we are until it comes up, right?
Right. Tiffany's like, perhaps radical is the new normal. I think radical is the new normal right now. Now that the nodes are in 15.5, yeah, radical can be the new normal because we're dealing with the gate of extremes. And so we get to be extreme. And that's my radiance here too. That's why I'm like, go on these kind of radical rants, because that's just who I am, and I'm going to be okay with that. And it kind of makes me feel good when I can get that out. I get more excited when I can go there, It's fun for me. Okay, let's see. We're probably going to only be on a little bit longer. So, I mean, what are you guys feeling, or how do you guys want to comment about what you're experiencing? I'd love to hear that. Let me see what else we can say. I have nothing more to say about the Just Now chart. I wonder if it's changed too since we've been on for like 30 minutes. Let me double check. We just felt it shift and now it's gone. Let's see, where are we at? Are we still in the 20? We're still in the 20.1. So the moon's still activating the 20.1.
I mean, just that 10-20 again to confirm is about expressing your truth, right? So being radical or being unique, whatever that is, because we have that integration circuitry 10 and 20. So it's connected to the intuition in the 57 and to the energy in the 34. So express your truth from who you really are, behave as who you really are in the now, and based on the present, not based on the past, right? And that's it. That's what is activated right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Awesome. Well, do you guys have any questions? Or I think that what we're actually going to do is we're going to shift and we're going to start doing chart readings. I guess we can figure out if we're going to do them live or recorded. I think, do you want to do them live, Bella?
Yeah, Ashley, can you not tell people a little bit about the different things that we're starting so many things? Like maybe, you were telling me today, okay, this and this and this is what we're doing. Like, oh, are we doing all that? That's cool.
I know we do a lot of stuff. Yes. Thank you guys. And thanks for joining us. I think this is kind of going to be a weekly thing. And you can see next Saturday night, we'll probably hop on again. We shall see, but I will definitely let you know, and we'll schedule it. I had no idea we can schedule with StreamYard, so now we're going to do that so we can give you a little bit more of a heads up. So thanks for joining us for our cosmic forecast, and I hope you have a great Saturday night. Bye, everybody.